relationship, marriage, partnership, whatever, deals with this.
Yes.
So,
So my husband's probably gonna kill me if he sees this, but I was just asking my girlfriends here at the table for some advice. I said, listen, what happens when you and your husband are at a deadlock on something? Like, you know, one feels strongly about one thing, the other one feels strongly about the other, and you just can't come to a compromise or a decision. So I don't know, I was just asking y'all, what do you do? Like, give me some girlfriend advice.
Talk it to death, I guess, for one thing.
Yeah, talk him to death, wear him down.
Well, see, that's the thing, and that's what I typically do is like, I will debate you till like,
well, and I know you too, that you're one who you like to keep the peace a little bit, and so I think unless it's a big deal, you really won't go to the mat unless you're, like you said, truly deadlocked. Because I think don't sweat the small stuff. So if it's not a big deal, you know, this is what I'm finding, especially in my current relationship, is it's easier now, and it's probably an age thing too. It's easier now to acquiesce when I can than to go to battle. Because especially afterwards, inevitably I say, what were we arguing about? Like it seems so stupid, you know?
Right.
But if there are big issues about raising your children, what schools they go to, religion, I mean, the big issues, I think that maybe sometimes it helps to get a professional involved if it's a real big issue, and kind of as a mediator, or maybe like a close family member who can stay impartial.
But you know, you got to remember that you're both on the same side. You're working to the same goals. How you get there, there are disagreements. I agree, but I agree with that. I agree with that disagreement.
I'm glad we agree, Mitch.
But and it's just so it's such a losing proposition to really get into it and fight over a thing, I think, and sometimes you just have to give in, but maybe it should be him. I don't know. I'm on your side, but you're on his side.
I think it should be him on this one.
Okay.
I think that also when you give something space, when you give it a little breathing room and you maybe address it the next day, sometimes the mood is different.
I always try and think, in 5 years, is this going to matter? And try and gauge it that way. Because if in 5 years it will still matter, then maybe this is worth really fighting for and hammering away on. But if in 5 years I'm not even going to be thinking about it, I'll usually let him have his way.
That's a good way to think about it. I like that.
Yeah.
So what I want to hear y'all's advice first. So what I did this morning, I just said, you know what, honey, you make the decision.
Okay.
And I got your back. And I just believe once you say that, then you got to let it go. So I need y'all to be praying for me.
That you can actually let it go?
I will let it go, you know, but I just thought, I just wanted to throw that out there this morning because I think many of us struggle in relationships when you, I mean, and, you know, typically we'll be married 13 years on Monday. So
congratulations.
This is not like our first rodeo around this, but it's just, I don't know, yesterday we just had this, like, he was feeling one way, I was feeling the other way. And I felt really strong about it, and I don't know,
Has this ever happened before with you guys?
Absolutely.
Sure, in 13 years. This brings up a really good point, though, because I was reading something the other day about Gabrielle Reese, the pro volleyball player, and married to, what is his name? I always forget his name, the surfer. Anyway, she got a lot of flack for saying, I think it was on the Today Show or something, that to avoid fights, she just believes in submission, that the woman should be submissive to the man. She took a lot of flack for it, but I think it was also the way it was spun in the media. But I think there is probably a case to be made for a man's role and a woman's role. And this is coming from I got a big mouth, okay? I'm very opinionated. But I do think that when you are sharing a household with somebody, there's something to be said for, you know, a man's role and a woman's role. And just, okay, my phone's going off. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble. But, you know, and I think that it's sometimes better to just
I think you did the right thing.
I was going to say, and I think you're dead on, Lisa, and really that's what brought me to this decision. I just realized, and I do agree with your friend, biblically, that a wife is just to submit to their husband. And that doesn't mean that you just sit on the ground, you just bow out and you don't give your opinion. I think once you've talked it through, and if he's really standing firm on something, I do believe that the wife should go ahead and submit to that decision. And then it's between him and God to figure out what happens from there.
Yeah.
So that's why this morning I decided, okay, baby, I'm gonna submit. And you make the decision. I promise I will not bring it back up.
And it's maybe, you know, it's all situational, right? Every situation is different, but I do think it's worth it to keep peace.